So, hello everybody and welcome to the Cage Corporation, your one-stop shop for things, comics, animation and gaming entertainment, and today we're going to be talking about link summoning. Not that kind of link summoning. Whew, okay, so link summoning is the newest mechanic that's hit the YuGiOh scene. Once again, focusing around a monster, as it has been since forever. I'm going to talk, now that it's died down a little bit, I'm going to talk about what it means for the game, what I see link summoning as, the pros and cons of it, and how I anticipate it going. I am not going to be discussing how it actually works, because a lot of the other people who have already discussed it, like Asian Eye, CMO, Mega Capital G, etc., you know, the big names of YouTubing, they've already done all that. So we're going to talk more about the effect of link summoning, where link summoning is going to go. So I think it's a very interesting mechanic. It's certainly divided a lot of people. You know, some people are like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, GG, the game's over, it's not going to be the same anymore, boo. And then other people are sort of going, oh, this is going to be great. Yeah, you know, link summoning is a great opportunity. I think it's quite amusing because a lot of people that were complaining that the game was too fast and traps have lost effect and nothing, game duels are over in like 3 turns. It's all about your first turn board, blah blah blah. That's all of a sudden going, well, now this is a mechanic that's quite clearly countering the fast play and the first turn boards and all of that sort of jazz, and going, oh no, it's ruining, Konami's ruining YuGiOh. I mean, I personally think it's an alright mechanic. I can't see any fault with it. I mean, okay, it doesn't feel like traditional YuGiOh per se, although it kind of does for reasons I'll get onto in a second. So I think it's good that Konami are looking at the game and going, well look, yeah, in a sense it is too fast, there is too much crazy shit going on, and everyone just throws extra deck onto the field and goes. I mean, we've got to look at ABCs. I mean, I love ABCs, and my deck has been hurt by the fact that that I can only summon into 1 extra monster zone slot unless I have a linked monster. But I think it's beneficial for the game rather than just throwing out a complete board and going. So I find it intriguing. I'd like to see where Raigeki goes on the ban list. We haven't had the ban list yet, so I'm very intrigued to see what happens to Raigeki. The cons of link summoning, it doesn't feel very YuGiOh, I guess. And you know, I guess if a lot of decks that rely on the extra deck, like ABCs, are going to get hit hard. So if you've invested a lot of money into your really good ABC deck, or other decks that rely on extra deck, then you're pretty much fucked, because then you have to include link summoning. I think as well, a lot of people are sort of saying a con is, oh well, Kamani's looking for money, like really, they're a business after all. You know, they're a business. And if they want to make money out of it, you know, we can't complain, because if they didn't make it in the first place, then we wouldn't have YuGiOh at all. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of capitalism and corporate mindsets and all that sort of jazz, but that's how it happens. That's how it happens. Link summoning's effect on the game, I've already said that it's going to slow the game down, and I do believe that's true. I do think that we're going to see a lot more, I think we're going to see a lot more traps being played now, decks that have sort of tentatively thrown in 5 or 6, you know, a couple of Fiendish Chains and a Mirror Force or something, are going to open up a lot more. It's taking it back a step, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of people will be playing cards like Magic Cylinder, Mirror Force, when people are already playing Mirror Force. I think cards like Magic Cylinder will come back into the fore, purely on the basis that if people are going to be focusing, using link summoning, they're going to be crafting their deck around specifically getting out big boss monsters, and going, oh yeah, I've got my big boss monster out, and it's going to be more of a big deal. And so using that would be like, well, Cylinder, and it can turn the tide of the game. I think what's interesting about link summoning as well, or the link monsters specifically, is that they are almost like a deck master. Maybe I'm the only person who got this kind of vibe, but I think they almost act like deck masters. Like you have to, in a weird way, you know, like you have to kind of work your deck around the link monsters. It's something to sort of keystone the deck around, prevent spamming of special summon. As I've said, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens to cards like Raigeki, Dark Hole, and their space on the ban list. Now that monsters aren't going to be as easy to spam onto the field necessarily, I'd like to see what happens there. I'd also like to see what happens with a lot of our meta decks right now that don't really need the extra deck. because I think they're probably going to get a fair amount of play at first. You're going to see a lot of people that were trying to react to the deck, react to the new link summoning mechanic and alter their deck so that it works with minimal extra deck. And you're going to see a lot of people that kind of just go, no, drop any cut decks that involve extra deck at all, and then just take up a newer one. And it'd be interesting to see what some of those decks are like. I think one of them I can think of would be like UA. UA is one of my favourite archetypes of all time, and they're not really an extra deck, but they were kind of up there, close to tier 1 at one point, not so much now because Roach got nerfed. But I'd like to see what would happen with them, and that will see if they put Roach back up. Decks like that could be a contention again. I'd also be interested to see what happens with the extra deck size. The extra deck size has stayed at 15 for pretty much as long as I can remember. I think ever. Yeah, it's pretty much been since the beginning of the game. And now that they're changing and adding more monsters into what is deemed by some people to already be a really crowded part of the deck, so it'll be interesting to see what it is they do with the extra deck. If they increase its size, or if they say no, you just got to play with what you've got. I think it's going to be quite difficult to say. Obviously, I know it's a bit of a cop-out thing to say, but I think it's going to be quite difficult to say until we know for sure what Link monsters are going to play like, how they're going to play. But I do think we're going to see a format not quite like GOAT necessarily, but a format of that ilk where things take a little bit more like genuine duelist skill behind them and such to know what's going to happen. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen, for sure. There's going to be a lot of places that are going to run pre-link formats. As I say, similar to what we have with Goat Control, where you don't have to run link summoning and extra monster zones aren't a thing. I think that's something that Konami should officially do. When you look at games like Magic the Gathering and they have all of their ways of playing, I think it's like Commander, Legacy, Normal, or Core, whatever they call it, something else. There's quite a few different ways of playing, whereas we really have traditional, which nobody plays because Konami don't have any real good rules around it and don't quite honestly care or run any tournaments. And then of course you have the normal advanced format. I do think that it should be happening, whether or not it will. And as far as Konami goes, I don't know, but they should have pre-link summon formats, and especially with such a big change. So I think as a final thought on link summoning, I think it can only be better for the game. I really do think that it's going to improve Yu-Gi-Oh! Some people think it's going to be, oh, that's it, GG Yu-Gi-Oh! Rip. I don't. I think the prevention of just being able to spam everything to the board means that you'll have to take careful, calculated decisions about what to include, what not to include, what to play, what not to play at this situation. Like, is this particular extra deck card as good as this particular Timbro or whatever have you? And it comes down to a bit more situational play. And having to anticipate what your opponent's going to do a little more, because obviously you don't want to spend all your effort, or use loads of cards to link summon, to then have two XYZ monsters, only to then no. I think a lot of cards like Trap Hole. I think that might be a little bit more relevant. I'm not shit hot on the details of Trap Hole and how it's going to work, but if someone links summons a monster, or not say like Trap Hole specifically, I'm pretty sure that's only when someone normal or flip summons. But like cards like Trap Hole that destroy a monster upon summoning if it has X amount of attack or higher. I think that's something that could be intriguing, and I do think they will feature a lot more prominently in meta Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's going to be certainly good to see if that's going to be the case. So I think a lot more traps, especially ones that destroy monsters off the bat or neg the summon, because then you're negating your opponent's chance to go into more extra deck monsters. You can only use one extra monster zone. I think that's probably a good idea, but I think it should be more like you can only link summon once per turn, or something like that. I don't know. I think the only concern is that there's not like the strategic advantage of going in and stealing your opponent's extra monster zone, but then I guess that would make them pretty OP. Actually, yeah, no, I think that's probably quite a good thing. I'm just going to cut that bit out because that's dumb. So that was my general musings on link summoning. Obviously, I'd like to see what happens in the future, and the ban list is going to come soon, although not entirely sure when, but it's going to have to come soon. So let's see what that shows us, and we can then I'll probably make another video, and we can go and see what what link summoning is going to bring to the table later on. If you've watched this video and you're like, what the fuck is a link summon? Then honestly check out anybody like Asian Eyes, Simo, Mega Capital G. They all explain it. So many channels explained it. I think Sami and Lindsay probably did something about it as well. So honestly, just go and watch them. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna waste your time, my time, for people that want to watch this, going, oh, what's a link summon? Go and watch someone else's video, then come back to this one because I give musings on it rather than just a basic explanation. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a like. Aim to try and get 5 likes. 5? No, I'm not going to get anywhere near that. I'm not even going to put that in the video. So, if you like this video, leave a like so I know that you liked it. I can do more of these kinds of videos because I know that you want to see it. If you want to see the next video, the reactionary video to the ban list, then please do subscribe and click that little bell so you get the notifications so you know not to miss it. Click all the icons and things that are probably popping up on the screen as I speak to you right now. You can watch stuff like YuGiOh videos, gaming videos, or if you're interested in other trading card games, there's probably a Final Fantasy trading card game one popping up right now if you want to see what that's like. Or if you're really salty about link summoning, you can have a look at the alternatives. There, I'm going to probably put it right here now because if they go Final Fantasy TCG, there you are. Have a look. Have a look. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta.